Hey Tim. Yeah, one of my worst flights that I've ever had was the time I was leaving Michigan to come back home to Florida, and I was up there visiting family, so I wanted to get the latest flight out of Detroit that was possible. I think it was like an 8 o'clock flight or something. So I got to the airport, and of course my flight was delayed because it was snowing, and I thought, okay, yeah, but I had to be to work the next day at 4 a.m. So I'm like, okay, come on, you know. It's time to go. And we finally boarded the flight sometime around 11 o'clock. The only problem was is our flight was the last one to leave Detroit to come to Florida, so we were waiting for all the connector flights to get to Detroit, and then everybody gets sorted through to come to our plane to come to Florida and everything. And we must have sat there until about 1 o'clock in the morning, and then we finally pushed away from the gate, headed out into the middle of the airfield where they were de-icing the planes. And that was a lovely experience, being de-iced before we could take off. So we were there for another hour or so. So I didn't get home. Well, we didn't land until like 5 o'clock the next morning, which I already had to call work while I was up in Detroit and say, "Hey, I'm not gonna be to work," because I had to be to work like 4 something in the morning, and it was just a very long day, and that's why I'll never ever book a flight coming home, which is the last flight. I'll always leave first thing in the morning. Going somewhere, it's fine to as soon as I get off work, okay, get home or just run to the airport, get on the last flight to go to where I want to go. But coming home, it will always be the first flight of the morning coming home. So at least I'll have some wiggle room, as they say, to get home. So that was my worst flight that I think I ever had. The turbulence thing, I really haven't had too bad of a flight, knock on wood. But the whole turbulence is just. Anyway,